Let that one sink in for a moment. James Gordon was on, I think, Talk Sport, denouncing us and adopting the moral high ground. That fat believes that we should have been expelled from the final. All right, you lovely people. Welcome, welcome. Now, I should be absolutely delighted to be out delivering today. I mean, look at this weather. It's like, I don't know, 22, 23 degrees. It's Friday. We got a weekend of beautiful sunshine ahead. Oh, there should be joy and happiness in my heart, but there isn't. I'll tell you why. Because I shouldn't be doing this shift right now. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't even be in Sheffield at this moment. What I was supposed to be doing was to be in my car on the way down to Southampton, firstly to see family, and then tomorrow to be on my way to Wembley to watch the Championship playoffs between Southampton and Hull. That was the plan. I almost had a ticket. I was in the process of getting a ticket. But then, as you might know from all the news that's been floating about Southampton, we are no longer in that final. We have been expelled and replaced by Middlesbrough. So I'm not going. So I'm here and fuming about it. So yeah, there is going to be a bit about football on this delivery shift. I will still carry on doing my deliveries. So if you like that, then do keep tuned in for that. But I am also just going to have a bit of a vent about football. So if you find football a bit boring, then you might want to skip this one, and I don't blame you if you did. By the way, I do have an order. I'm going to pick up from KFC. It's like a £4 order, going a couple of miles. Traffic's a bit backed up, as it often is on a Friday, sort of lunchtime-ish. But yeah, before we go any further, though, let me just be absolutely clear on my sort of position about what happened with Southampton and the whole Spygate scandal, where they were accused and found guilty of spying on Middlesbrough and several other teams. And, subsequent information that has come out has just made things progressively worse for us in terms of, how many people were involved and bullying and God knows what else. I absolutely think that we deserve the punishment we got. Okay, I'm not going to go into that whole issue of, did we deserve to be expelled? Absolutely. What we did was fucking stupid. It was dishonest. And, other fans, especially Middlesbrough fans, have every right to be massively pissed off with us. And I don't blame anything that they sort of said or did in trying to get us kicked out. No complaints about that at all. I know there's a lot of argument about whether the punishment was proportional or whatever. I don't give a shit about that, We did something really dumb. It's not great for the game that we did it. And yeah, we got kicked out. Can't really complain about that. I think what's most annoying about just the fact that we spied was that we didn't need to do it. I really don't think we needed to do it. We've got a really good football team, really good players, and I can't believe that the spying that we did made a massive difference. Doesn't excuse it, doesn't justify it. I just don't think it probably made a difference. But like I said, that shouldn't be a consideration. The fact that we did it at all is reason enough for us to be booted out. Right, let's get that out of the way. But let me just go pick up this first order, and then I'll tell you what is pissing me off about it, really. Oh, got another add-on. Oh, got another add-on order. Another £2 for half a mile extra, which I can live with. Come on. Oh, it's busy today. I suppose there's a lot of people probably clocking off work early to enjoy the sunshine or go somewhere.
Hello, how are you?
Not too bad, buddy. How are you? Thank you. It's just what I need. All right, let's go pick up this second order. This is just around the corner. It's less than half a mile. And shouldn't take too long, although the traffic is backed up like buggery here. That is a lovely little slot to just go into. Cheers, mate. Make sure this is the right one. Cheers. So yeah, like I said, coming back to my Spygate rant, got no issues with fans. I've got no issue with the punishment. I've also got no issue with, everything that the fans of opposing teams are saying about us. Fans have got no obligation to be, objective about what's happened. The whole point of being a football supporter is that you get to be as subjectively unhinged as you want to be. That's the whole purpose of supporting your club. So all the jokes and memes and fun poked at us absolutely deserved from all the other football fans, except maybe Pompey, but that's a different story. But I think what's really pissed me off is the moral indignation from journalists and pundits and news presenters and footballers and various other people on all these various programs, acting like we've been, I don't know, garrotting babies or something like that. And I think if you've got to the point where James Corden is asserting his moral superiority over you, then something's gone very, very wrong in society. James Corden.
Okay. Your cheating has prevented them from progressing to go up to the Premier League. Next year, regardless of whatever league you're in, 50% of your revenue or your projected revenue, so it has to be paid at the start of the season, will be paid to them as compensation.
Just let that one sink in for a moment. James Corden was on, I think, Talk Sport, denouncing us and adopting the moral high ground. That fat believes that we should have been expelled from the final. That's a man who should not have an ethical opinion on anything, given everything we know about him. And I think this is the problem for me, is that that's just symptomatic of everything as a whole. All these people, footballers and people like that, coming, oh, this is terrible. Acting as though, firstly, systematic cheating doesn't exist already in football in a whole variety of ways. And how they'll conveniently overlook that as long as it suits their purposes. So yeah, so all these pundits and journalists and ex-footballers and whatever getting on there and wagging their fingers and shaking their heads, they can all fuck right off. I love this idea that we've somehow brought the game into disrepute. Like it needed us to do that for football. That somehow miraculously it was us who, was the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of corruption within football. Goodness me. So make sure I give people the right orders, because I have had a bit of a nightmare over the last couple of days with giving people the wrong orders. All right there, buddy. There you go. And there's your drinks. Be careful. Perfect, James. Thank you so much. Have a good one. All right, let's get off to the next one. It's 2 minutes away. Oh. Hi there you go. Is that it? Yeah, thank you so much. Bye. All right, so that one's done. Got me a quick kind of £6, I think, and now I've got another £6 order. I'm only going a couple of miles. Going back to this burrito place I just picked up the last order from, so again, not too far to go. So yeah, the moral indignation over Southampton's behaviour I think is absolutely ridiculous. And I think it's just because, I don't know, spying is a very silly thing to begin with, but it's also a very visual thing. It's something that people can make jokes about and memes about, and they got a photo of our intern trying to record the Middlesbrough training with his iPhone and sort of skulking in the bushes and looking ridiculous, and You know, all of those things. All of those ridiculous things. Whereas, you know, financial irregularities that, you know, Manchester City and Chelsea and God knows many other teams have been involved in, and which have materially helped them win stuff, that's a lot trickier one to show in the media, isn't it? You know, Man City have got 100 odd financial charges against them, but, you know, that's not funny, that's not sexy. You can't, investigative journalism can't go out and, you know, stand by a tree and report on what we were doing and all this kind of ridiculous stuff. Come on, mate, go, go, go. Jesus Christ. There's not like a 5 mile an hour speed limit here, buddy. Mate, have you got that one? Is that home A? Thank you. There's nothing out. That's it, yeah? Cheers. Yeah. All right, mate.
She almost gave me a few.
Huh?
She almost gave me a few.
This is Laura C. That's it. Thank you so much. It's vegetarian anyhow. I don't think you'd like it. See ya. All right. 3 minutes to the first customer. Only 0.5 miles. That's a quick one. So yeah, coming back to the football, and yeah, I am going to come back to it. I'm really sorry. It's on my mind. It's all I've been thinking about for the last few days, which is ridiculous, you know. I'm a grown man. I should have other hobbies. You know, everyone's calling for the firing of our manager, Tonda Eka, and you know, he may be fired by now. You know, things seem to be changing daily, but certainly everyone, including Saints fans, are demanding that he goes, and you know, various other people within the club who maybe did or didn't know about all this stuff. And you know, he's become a bit of a pantomime villain, poor Tonda. It doesn't help that he does look a bit odd. He's got a slightly sort of villainous death stare about him, which has made him sort of the perfect patsy for all this. And now it's saying that, he bullied some of the interns and made them do the spying, and you know, every new revelation, you know, makes him out to be an even more villainous character than he was before. But I think the guy is 32 years old. He's 32 years old. He'd never managed, you know, a full club before, only sort of assistant manager under 21s. And he was thrust in charge of, you know, one of the bigger clubs in the Football League, Southampton. We're not like Man City or Liverpool or Man United, but we're still pretty big. We were right near the bottom of the division. And it was his job to try and get us up, and he did a damn good job. Now, yeah, maybe he cheated somewhere along the way. I don't think we can just put the success we had down to the cheating, quite frankly. Hi there, is it Laura? Yeah, Laura. There you go. Cheers, have a good day. All right, that one's done. Let's go on to the next one. This is, again, very short, only like 3 minutes away. Less than a mile. So yeah, this poor guy, all right, poor guy's probably pushing it a bit given some of the things he's done, but 32-year-old guy put into this incredibly stressful job. Yeah, and he probably lost the plot a bit. Wanted to do everything he could to succeed, thought that, you know, spying on opposition was okay. It was, you know, perhaps a widely done thing, one of those things which is technically illegal, but everyone kind of accepts it. Or maybe he just knew it was completely illegal and he shouldn't do it, but did it anyhow. Either way, he's still a really, really young guy put into a really, really difficult job, which he had no experience for. And now he's been vilified as the sort of villain of the piece in all of this, and everyone's sort of making fun of the poor guy, and I doubt he can leave his bloody house at the moment. So, you know, what I personally would like to see Saints do, my team do, is stand behind him. Say, look, okay, he made a mistake. He did something ridiculously stupid. Everyone makes mistakes in their life. You know, he can go through whatever moral and sensitivity training he needs to go through to be a better person. And then, you know, let him have another go at it. Obviously without the cheating. He's certainly not going to cheat again, I'll tell you that for certain. And the same with the interns, you know? You know, let them all work together, sort their differences out, sort their problems out. Because I think with football, it's just get rid of everyone. You know, as soon as there's a problem, just fire everyone. Everyone's always complaining about no loyalty in football. It's because, you know, no one ever shows any loyalty to anyone in the game. The only loyal people in football are the fans. Maybe it'd be great if teams actually showed a bit of loyalty to their staff at times and say, well, you know, we'll give you another try at this. You know, there needs to be immediate retribution always these days. Everyone needs to be immediately drummed out or fired or sacked or expelled. And it's like, Jesus Christ. There's no room for sort of growth, development to improve. Where are we? Just... Oof. Hello, how are you? Yeah, not too bad. Do I need a pin off you? Oh, let me just put that in first. 4770. Perfect. Yeah, that's gone through. And there's your food.
Great,
thank you. Enjoy. Bye. All right, got another order in. It's a £9 order, going about 7 miles in total, but this is a package. There's always an air of, you know, curiosity about what you're picking up when you're picking up a package. I think it gives delivery drivers the chance to sort of act like they're in Breaking Bad or The Wire delivering some dubious package, whereas most of the time it's, you know, it's an old jumper that someone left at someone's house and they need to get it back to them. Yeah, we've become a incredibly sort of judgmental society, I think. And I know that's a lot to do with kind of social media. I don't want to get too heavy about this, but you know what I mean? It's just, there has to be an immediate punishment, immediate retribution on someone for doing something wrong. People need to be fired, expelled, cancelled, whatever. But I think there is some value sometimes in just, you know, taking a beat, stepping back, and saying, well, you know, okay, someone made a mistake. Yeah, we've all done it. We've all screwed up in our jobs. All right, most of the time they're relatively small screw-ups and can be easily fixed or at least apologised for. And yeah, he's done something that has probably cost us quite a bit of money. But I don't know. I feel he's probably quite a good manager, even without the cheating. So I think he seemed to do pretty well. So give him another chance. That's my view. So yeah, I am pissed off that, you know, Saints are not in the final. Not pissed off that we got expelled. I think that was absolutely deserved. But I am annoyed. I think I'm just annoyed at the lack of forgiveness and understanding of the situation for the people involved, you know? Firstly, for all the sort of interns that were involved in this, and there was a lot of talk about, you know, how they've been bullied by the manager and stuff. You know, they're all quite young. I know people say 32 is sort of old enough to know better. It really isn't. Not when you've got a super stressful job like that. You know, and just we've no longer got that capacity to let people kind of redeem themselves and prove that they're better than they were. You know, it's not that difficult, is it? Because I kind of hope that in a similar situation, you kind of, well, I hope, you know, someone would understand why I did what I did. Everyone's always going on about, like, men's mental health and all that stuff. Well, you know, I'm sure none of this is helping those poor bastards. And, you know, we're just going to have to start all over again if we get rid of everyone. I know everyone's like, you know, we need a clean sweep. Get rid of everyone. Start all over again. Is that what we need? Yeah, start all over again from zero. you know, we're going to lose a lot of our players anyhow. Maybe keep on some of the people who are actually doing a decent job, despite the cheating. If we overlook the cheating, they were doing a really good job. Anyhow, let me know what you think. If any football fans there who've got this far and were willing to sit through all my, you know, Kentucky deliveries and God knows what else, let us know what you think. Particularly about whether you think the manager should be given another chance. I really think he should. I know there's this idea that he's brought the game into disrepute. I mean, he hasn't broken any laws. Yeah, he's done something which is stupid, but it's still not as bad as some of the things that some of these other clubs have done, quite frankly, and who should be punished as badly, if not worse, than we have been done. So, Man City, for example. I know people say, well, you're just doing the kind of, you know, what about, or whataboutery, or... no, I'm not. I think we should absolutely be punished, but that should then be applied across the board. It shouldn't matter what kind of club you are. All right, let's go. Where the hell am I going? I'm picking it up from somewhere. Munchies Supplies Limited. Unit 9? Oof. Hi there, how are you? Okay, thank you so much. Not sure what it is. It looks like a doodad. A thing. All right, let's go and drop this doodad off. So, 9 minutes, 2.5 miles. Let's get going. Of course, the reality is, all of this, in a couple of weeks, will be forgotten. You know, once the World Cup starts especially, it's just like, you know, this is, you know, in old parlance, it's you know, it's tomorrow's fish and chip paper. You know, in a couple of weeks' time, there'll be another story which is, you know, tastier, more interesting, more scandalous, and they will move on from it. Because unless there's any more news out of this, that's it. You know, they've wrung everything they can out of this, so they'll move on. But, you know, the manager and the interns or whatever, all their lives are kind of ruined because of this. But, you know, I feel there has to be a bit more place for a bit more forgiveness in life. That's not a sort of a religious thing. I'm not a religious man. Just sort of human forgiveness for the fact that we are humans who can make mistakes. So, yeah, I know it's not going to happen. I know the poor bastard's going to be fired as soon as is reasonable for them to do so, because they need a scapegoat. And he is the current scapegoat for this. He's you know, he fits the bill perfectly. He's German. He talks in a very sort of robotic way. He looks a bit freaky. It is. Is this from the Munchies place? There you go. That's it. That's it, I think. Thank you. Bye. All right, I got another order in. It's a bit of a monster. It's a £13 order. It is going quite a way outside the city. Not quite sure how far though. I mean, I think it's definitely worth it. It's only a mile or so to the restaurant, which is like a shawarma place. But I reckon it's probably only maybe 6-7 miles out. I mean, again, the problem with always going outside the city is you do have to get back, unless you can pick up something when you're out there. And there might be. It's a place, I think it's called High Green. It's where the Arctic monkeys come from, actually. Yeah, so I'm going all the way out there. But there are some shops and stuff out there as well, so we might be able to pick something up before I come back. But yeah, for £13, it's kind of worth doing. You always get that sort of slight glazed look in your eye when you see a big number come up on the screen. You're like, yes, I'll take that. Without really looking too closely as to how far you're actually going. But still, day's nice. So a nice sort of drive out into the countryside is not a bad thing. Quite pleasant. Get some wind in the hair because I am boiling in this jacket. There's a train station, Sheffield train station, which is quite beautiful. Quite pretty, isn't it, eh? Look at that. Is it closed? How do I get in here? Entrance for delivery drivers only. I can see my order in there. All right, buddy. Sorry, I couldn't find where to get in. It's 9400. All right, buddy. Cheers. All right, let's get off to this one. It's only about 6.5 miles. It can take about 20 minutes. But you add that on to the 1.5 miles to the restaurant. That's 8 miles in total for 13 quid. It's actually not too bad, especially middle of the day. So this would probably bring me up to about £37 for 2.25 hours, which is okay. Not bad. Not bad at all. And I got to get a good old rant about Southampton off my chest as well. So I feel a lot has been accomplished today. I've earned slightly above minimum wage. I've been out in the sun. And I had a good old moan about the footy. I think that's what people call a good day. I know it sounds like I'm a bit down on football, but I actually love the game. And I love my team, Southampton, and I've been a supporter for them for, well, since I was about 6 or 7. But yeah, it's just so weird to just constantly sort of open up websites or forums or YouTube or whatever and just see Saint's name being dragged endlessly through the mud, and as each revelation makes things worse, people are just piling on us. And I think it is getting to a point where I don't care anymore. It's like, all right, whatever, what else? I think what I'd like to happen, I mean, I don't think I'd like this to happen, but just in a sort of in that attitude of, well, let's burn it all down. If you're going to come for us, is if we found out that this spying was common practice across the division and there was evidence of it. And that, not only Saints were doing it, but lots of other clubs were doing it. Then I think that would be interesting, and what impact that would have. Because at the moment we are the whipping boy. Everyone wants a piece of us. I think everyone wants to sue us for various things. Players want to sue us. Sponsors want to sue us. Other clubs want to sue us. Hi there. Yeah, that's fine. Hopefully it'll fit through. I think it will. Oh, be careful. Have you got that? Cheers. Have you got your code? Yes, no problem. Cheers. All right, well, that one's dropped off. I just had a quick check, and it looks like we've made about 40 quid for 2 hours, which isn't actually bad. Just 20 quid an hour. Even on a Friday, which I expect to be a bit busier, that's still pretty damn good, because it is only lunchtime. Evenings, yeah, it's going to be busy. Co-op chap. Oh, this is a quick one. £3, 0.8 miles. Yeah, I'm going to do that one. Yeah, so a quick 3 quid for 0.8 miles is it's a no-brainer. Let's do it. Got an order for Leanne H, 78F, 1F. Is that everything, yeah? Okay, thank you. This is 1 minute away, 0.4 miles. Very close to the supermarket. Perfect. Love them. Didn't take too long to pack either. Jesus, there's quite the fleet of little mobile things there. Jesus, look at that. All right, my dear, how are you? Ooh. Oh, it is. Can I just put those down for you there? Yeah, that goes through. Yeah. Perfect, thank you. Have a good one. All right, well, that was done. That was a nice quick one. Got me another £3. That brings us up to about £42, £43 for, like I say, just over 2 hours, maybe 2 hours 10. Yeah, very, very happy with that. Going to head off home now. It is very warm, so I think I'm just going to go and just get in the cool down a little bit, and get ready for my evening shift. Thank you so much for being with me today. Apologise for the long sort of football-related rant, but honestly, my family are not that interested in football, so yeah, no, they don't care. So this is just a way of me to sort of shout out to the world about what is on my mind about football, particularly as it, affects me, as it's my club, Southampton. I'll be back just with my usual witterings in future videos, and no more talk of football. And wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, whatever time of day, week, month, year it might be, have a damn footballing one. I'll see you later. Bye.